In most cases, fire-related stories have ended with the fire brigade reaching the scene late, rendering them incompetent. However, according to the Director of Fire Prevention and Rescue Services, there are a couple of challenges that lead to such things to happen. The Director of the Fire Prevention and Rescue Services dismisses allegations of police arriving late at fire scenes, saying many people don't consider their location at the time, and some areas are difficult to reach. When fire gutted in Sanji Secondary School in Wakiso district, the police arrived after students' property had been destroyed and the best part of the school burned to ashes.
The dormitories are so packed. They are triplets, meaning people are sleeping, 3 people, 3 decans, 3 people. They are so packed.
If you get a call to respond to Kinawataka, or a call to respond to that Kireka the other side, or Banda itself, obviously you'll take some bit of time to locate the exact place that's affected. Reasons being narrow roads, no plot numbers, no road names, congestion. That is the real story.
Fighting fires in the city has been difficult and expensive. Access to water remains a challenge, coupled with inadequate fire equipment and few vehicles. Last year alone, over 904 fire outbreaks occurred in various parts of the country, but only few incidents were successfully managed.
I have responded to so many incidences since I joined this directorate, and the ones that I can remember very well, one of them is Cham Towers, when there was a fire at the basement. It was a very challenging fire, but because of the experience, the knowledge and expertise that we had, we managed to contain it within record time. Then I remember very well also one scenario, one time when Dembe FM was on fire. It was around lunch time when one of the presenters was communicating to the audience that the studio was on fire. And indeed they thought she was playing hot music. It's true that it was on fire. By the time I responded, I found out that the fire was actually spreading towards the studio, but we managed to contain it and we saved all the properties.
The Directorate of Fire Prevention and Rescue Services of the Uganda Police Force focuses on fire prevention, offering rescue services even in calamity outbreaks like floods, landslides, accidents on the roads and homes. They admit that a lot should be done to get the Directorate carry out its mandate effectively.
More logistics, more appliances, more fire engines and firefighting trucks ought to be purchased, ought to be procured, to open up stations all over the city and other towns. 2, the big industrial concerns. If you've got a big industrial complex, you ought to have your minimum level of emergency response and protection. If the emergency becomes bigger and requires more capacity, we support them. But when they're already there.
Uganda loses over 30 billion shillings in fire outbreaks every year. But this year, the Directorate of Fire Prevention and Rescue Services is recognizing the International Firefighter's Day, 4th May, to remember brave firefighters.
What they do in recognition of that day is to prepare ourselves for an emergency. You know, we prepare ourselves for emergencies by training, by rehearsing, by reflecting on what we have done, what has been a challenge to us before. Sometimes we go into a classroom and review our operations, certain major events, that how did we succeed here? How did we fail here? What do we need to do to improve on this?
On this day, the world recognizes and honors the sacrifices that firefighters make to ensure that their communities and environment are safe. The role of a firefighter in today's society, be it in urban, rural, natural environment, volunteer or other, is one of dedication, commitment and sacrifice, no matter what country they reside and work in. Now, fire is a calamity that could lead into a great loss of both property and lives. The Directorate of Fire Prevention and Rescue Services calls upon the public to always be vigilant and on the lookout of any possible fires to avoid or reduce on the risks of the loss. I'm Dennis Wonyala, reporting for Urban Television.